Hey y'all, it's Megan. Welcome back to the channel. Glad y'all are here today. Today, just come spend the day on the farm with us. We got a lot going on with the garden and different things. It is currently Saturday morning. It won't be Saturday when you see this, but every Saturday morning we move our egg-laying chickens. So I realize that I've got a lot of new people on the channel. I'm so glad all of y'all are here, new and old. But for y'all new folks, I'm going to show y'all our chicken setup down here. Had a few people commenting about putting our chickens in a mobile coop. We've run our chickens in what we call the egg mobile for going on 3 years or longer now. And I'm just going to show you our setup real quick. I like to walk down here. They're on the far end of our pasture. And I always walk down on Saturday mornings, just gets my day started. They are right there. We do have to pull it with the side-by-side. It's a little big and awkward. I'm hoping that eventually, maybe a winter project, we can scale this down just a little bit. So let me show y'all around this chicken tractor real quick. You can hear the chickens in there, they're ready to come out. But this is an old hay wagon frame. Andy actually pulled it out of the woods at his grandma's house and redid it, painted it, put new tires on it, and built this shelter on top of it. So let me go ahead and let these chickens out here. So you can see when we close the door there, it blocks the whole thing, so no predators. We've got plenty of airflow coming through with the windows. In the wintertime, we actually cover these in plastic to hold in the heat. This is how we get in. So they have their roosting poles. They also roost on these. That's why they're broke. They have broke them. Nesting boxes, they only lay in about 5 of these boxes even with all these chickens. Their feeders hang in here. Both of those feeders together hold a 50-pound bag of feed. And our floors are slatted. That way the manure falls through. But you can see they have plenty of room in here. This can actually hold way more chickens than what I have. The most chickens we ever had in here was last year. I want to say it was 75 or 80 chickens. And they fit fine in this house. I only have about 40 now. I cut way back on that. I've got 2 guineas in here. I think that really helps with the hawks. They give a warning signal. All the chickens take cover under the house. Usually a rooster and the guineas are left out, like looking around. The guineas are running around squawking. So I really think that has saved us from the hawks. Our netting is electrified. So we always make sure we run it along the edge of the electric fence down here in the pasture. So anything that tries to get in, coons or whatever, get shocked and turn around and go the other way. Anything you want to tell them about your concoction?
It's overkill. So I built it with the idea thinking we were going to be raising a ton of chickens and selling a ton of eggs. And we do sell a lot of eggs, don't we?
I sell plenty to cover the feed.
But don't sell near as many as I intended on, just because we realized having that many chickens took a lot of expense to keep it up, and the only time we have time to move them and everything is basically on the weekends when we're both home. And so I wish now, looking back, that I would have built more of the smaller, easy to move type coop, kind of like a Justin Rhodes type coop or whatever. But right now this works. It's what we got, so it's what we use. But I wish I'd have built a smaller one, just so Megan could move it on her own if she needed to or whatever. Because the biggest problem is you see this? That's where they were 2 weeks ago. And the coop was sitting right there on top of it. And where we only have time to move them like once a week, that's letting too much manure fall into one concentrated spot. And it kills the grass. Now in the rainy season, this ain't a problem. But in the dry summer season, it is. Now it actually does come back out of that, but takes a while. And that's why, if you've seen our video about the corn, that's why we're talking about catching the chicken manure, because the way we do things right now, we're only moving it once a week, and we have all that chicken manure build up underneath that coop, and we just want to try to figure out a way to catch it all. But yeah, if I could go back and redo something, I'd have built it a little bit smaller, and I would have actually used that wagon as a hay wagon instead of a mobile chicken coop. But like I said, it is what it is now. And it's here, and we may eventually go after the selling a ton of eggs again anyways, because there's definitely a market for them. It wasn't that we couldn't sell them, it was the fact that
it was too much manure and it was just too many chickens.
Yes, there was too many chickens if we had time to move them like every other day or something like that, it would have worked fabulous. But just with what we had going on, or what we still have going on, we just couldn't do it. So reducing the load of chickens in there really has allowed us to not tear up as much of a spot, in a week's time. And they can actually last on a week's time on the little circle of grass we keep them on.
And actually you can tell a difference in the pasture after a couple of weeks where the circle was and where the chickens run around and pooped on it. You can tell, but usually under the house, like you said, is a dead spot.
Yeah, for anybody new here, last year, we overworked ourselves big time. We had a bunch of chickens. We had a ton of meat chickens. Megan was having to do all that on her own. We had acres of garden stuff planted, produce and whatever, and we were selling it all off of the farm here. And it was working, but gosh, y'all, we just didn't have time, with me working all the time and her working still.
And I had a lot going on.
Yeah, you had a lot of issues going on, but it just, I think it kind of burned us out for a little while there. So this year we've kind of slacked off on a whole lot of the stuff we were doing and just kind of doing the bare minimum of what we need to feed us and still sell enough to cover the expense of what we got into everything.
All right, I'm gonna go up here and take this fence down. On this very last section, on our rotation, we go ahead and just take the fence down, let them stay on this last half they were on, because if you notice, there ain't a tree in sight right here. So they can still go down and go under some of these trees right here for shade where it's so hot. And we'll leave them here for about a day and a half, and then it'll be time for the big move again. It's pretty entertaining. So if you hadn't seen how we do the big move all the way back to the front, I'll be sure to link that video. Yeah, it can be fun sometimes. What doing, baby? What you doing, Betty Boo? I want to show y'all something here. I got high hopes that she's bred. When I dried her off, this went completely empty. And look at there, she's bagging up a little bit. So I got high hopes. Candy is too a little bit. So hopefully we'll have some calves come winter time. Of course, not the ideal time, but it's when people don't need their bulls. So we'll have them put up in a barn, hopefully, when it gets closer to that time.
So y'all, our bamboo teepee collapsed. I was worried about this, thinking that it might possibly be too much weight on those little pieces of bamboo, and I was right. So we're gonna see if we can't fix that. And I'm thinking I might take a string and tie it plumb up to the fence here, and then put something on the other side propping it up just till the tomatoes are done. So somebody tell me if y'all have that love-hate relationship with tomato cages like we do. They're easy to start with. Just stick a cage around a tomato and then everything looks all good. But once that tomato gets tall and bushy, over they go. You better have some other type of support holding them things up. All I'm using here is old tobacco sticks. We have these laying around in excess around here, that's for sure. Well, we got those fixed back up. Got this one, and there's two other ones right down there. I don't know, it seems like this time of year everything starts to get away from you. It gets hot. When you get in from work, it's just hot, and you just don't really, I don't know. For us anyway, it seems like you just don't have time to take care of some of the stuff the way you should take care of it. So somewhere in amongst these tomatoes, Megan's out there picking. Stand up, Megan. There she is. I see a bucket of red. What you getting a stick for?
For spider webs.
Oh.
I come through here like this.
Oh.
And knock the spider webs out of the way.
Goodness gracious, y'all. What a jungle we have created.
I'm on the towel because of ants or something bites me. I'm getting a few, but still a lot of green ones.
Right, here's a pretty red one. Two pretty red ones.
Most of these are Mountain Pride tomatoes. There's a few celebrities in here, but anybody that's in the mountain region, I'm gonna tell y'all, Mountain Prides are the way to go.
A lot of the mountain varieties. What kind of we plant for your mama? Those were
Mountain Fresh.
Mountain Fresh, and they're doing excellent up there.
Yeah, but they don't crack when it comes a lot of rain if it's been dry.
Yep, look at that.
We had somebody come one time when we used to sell plants and ask for Mountain Pride tomatoes, and we had never heard of them. And so we found some. We decided we were going to plant some too. Dude, that one's rotten. And when we did, that year it was really dry, and then we would get like a bunch of rain. And I didn't hardly get any tomatoes from any of the other varieties because they had cracked and busted, and we all know what happens when that happens, except for the Mountain Prides. If it hadn't been for Mountain Prides that year, I wouldn't have had any tomatoes.
So that's what we've stuck with.
Yep.
I think we might have a few celebrities and something like that in here too. And then of course we got our pink brandywines over there. That's one of Megan's favorite.
Oh yeah, it's my favorite tomato sandwich. The Mountain Prides are good canning tomatoes.
I just stepped on a tomato. I'm assuming you throwed it out because it was rotten.
I ain't been up there.
Well, how did it get here?
It might have rotted and fell off.
All right, I'm backing out of the tunnel. So y'all, something else we got to do this season before the birds get them is go ahead and cut these sunflower heads off. The little rascals has done stole some seeds out of this one. I've looked and they've done cut a bunch out of them, a lot of them, but we got a lot left to pick and a lot that ain't quite ready yet. Check this out. This was all from a volunteer plant too. But I guess I might as well cut this one all the way down because there's no flowers left on it.
And if you're wondering what we do with the sunflower heads, partly we keep seeds to replant for next year for the pollinators and just because they're pretty. And then other heads we'll throw to the chickens and let the chickens clean out the seeds, kind of like free feed.
Look at the size of those seeds.
What?
They're some big ones. You see right there, the birds have done picked out these seeds. What we do is we just lay them out somewhere and let them dry somewhere where the birds can't get to them.
That means I gotta plant the sunflower back.
Hey, Jacob, take that and throw it into Lovey and see if he'll eat that. Make sure it don't land on the fence, though.
Might not throw it through the gate, maybe.
There's birds everywhere out here. Oh, let's see if I can get this without tearing it down. Well, they've done stripped that one.
Got a few seeds in it, don't it?
It ain't got many. It ain't worth fooling with. We'll let them have it all. Look, they done got most of that one too.
Been working on them.
Little rascals.
Some of them other heads got a bunch of seeds in them.
Yeah. Right here's one that's got some seeds. I think. Yeah, it's still got a few seeds. But they're starting to work on it too. That's the bad thing about these sunflowers. You cannot. Yeah, they can have the little ones. We're fine with that. But you cannot leave these things hanging long enough to dry because you won't have a seed one left. Oh, here's a good one.
A bee drinking nectar.
Yeah, the bees love them.
Look at that.
Whoa.
It's a good one.
Daddy, look at the bee.
Well, whatever those little yellow birds are, they're the ones that eat them, and they're all over these things. And y'all know the crazy thing? I don't think I'd seen one of these little yellow birds since I was a kid. And now that we've got sunflowers everywhere, I see them all the time. So I don't know if we just didn't have anything around here they wanted, or we've just given them something to eat here, and now they're taking advantage of it. They've done eat most of those too, so I'm going to leave that one alone.
Daddy, it's playing hide and seek.
I see. We got a few out here at the garden to pick, and that's probably about it for now. Look at that. They done cleaned that one too. I thought that one looked like it had seeds in it still.
Got a few.
Not many. It's got a few in it. That's those pink looking seeds. Remember having some of those last year. The seeds that we saved last year, we planted up in our big garden up there at the field. It looks like a good one. Now I like a head that does that. It like wraps around the seeds so nothing can get them. Right up there's one too. Yep, there's seeds in there. Those are little bitty seeds. Alright. That's about all we got worth picking out here. Found a couple more good ones. Well, guess that's it for now. We got a pile of them to pick though. They're just not quite ready yet. While we was out here at the garden, I thought we'd check and look at the sweet potatoes. It looks like Billy's bone sauce on these wooden stakes has done the trick. We hadn't had any more problems with the deer out here, knock on wood. But we've just got each one of these stakes covered in Billy's bone sauce, and man, they're looking good. They're looking good. And then our purple hull peas over here, these have already outgrown the ones we had planted down in the big garden where the sweet corn is. These have done so much better, but it was hotter when we planted them, and I think that's got a lot to do with it. But anyways, y'all, I guess that's going to do it for this video. We've got a lot more we got to get accomplished today, and we'll see what the rest of the day holds for us. Anyways, thank y'all for watching. We'll catch you on the next.